Oh, there we go. If I do one-to-one, I can see you better.
Oh, it's just all of a sudden it got hot in my room. You were talking about how cold you are. Now I'm hot.
Mm,
Ain't
It's
that
it.
just the way?
It'll be hot in here in the summer. It's it's these windows. Floor to ceiling
Oh,
windows, are either really cold or really hot. Like you can
that
see
makes
the
sense.
window behind me. It goes all the way to the floor. It's just
Wow. I would be
windows. The view
scared
is
about
really cool.
that.
Oh,
I
it
would
doesn't bother
feel
me.
it would bother me. It'd trigger my intrusive thoughts too much. I'm like, well, what if this window breaks? Well, what if I lean on this window on accident and all my stuff falls out the house?
Then it belongs
Drops.
to the sky.
What if I kill a pedestrian without meaning to? Alright, close all my stuff, silence my phone, make a podcast. So much to do today. Alright, let's do this. Oh, I made one change to the edit as a moderator just to see if I could.
Oh,
I added an exclamation point on the end of our description. I was like, okay, I'm gonna see if this works. Click. It worked.
so
Okay.
you're in the sub now. You're good.
I'm in the sub. Get ready for some memes by me. All right.
Nice.
Hello, friends and fiends. Welcome to Bugs Need Heroes, a podcast about insect superpowers. Each episode, an artist and an entomologist team up and illustrate the aspiring abilities of insects by creating bug-themed superheroes. I'm Amanda.
I'm Kelly.
Producer Derek and Zotz are also here. Before we get started creating this bug-inspired hero, what's bugging you, Kelly?
No, I yesterday spent the day with my family. My mom turned 70, which is weird to think about. It's weird to think of a parent who is 70 years old. My dad will be 70 in May, but they don't, I don't know. You know when you're little and you think about 70 and it feels like ancient,
Ancient.
and they're not. They're just not. Like they're not. I don't think they even look very old
I
to
think
me.
the thing is the drop off is quite harsh. It feels like you're not old, and
Yeah.
then one day you are old. Well, at
It's
least when
like,
you're a kid, that's how it feels, you know.
yeah, it's so. And then I was thinking, like, I'm 40, I'm 42, and if you had asked me what a 42-year-old looked like when I was 15, I'd be like old,
Oh,
but I don't
disgusting,
look old. Yeah,
decrepit,
it's just,
lynch,
it's so
crypt
weird
keeper.
to think about age like that.
Yeah, I have very young parents. My parents got started early. So they were in their, early 20s when I came along. So now, 35 years later, they're not that old compared to like other grandparents.
Yeah,
So they're like, my grandma's 70. And I'm like, oh, my kids' grandparents are like not 60, you know? So, you know,
yeah.
it has its advantages and disadvantages.
Parents had me. I think they were 26 or 27 when I came
Yeah.
along.
That's
So
when I had started my brood of two.
you're brood.
My brood. So, yeah.
But it was really nice to see them. We went out to lunch and I brought them like a fruit tart for dessert.
Who doesn't love a fruit
I
tart?
love a fruit tart. And my mom called me like in the other room. She was making a couple quilts, one for her and one for her sister. She's one sister. And my Aunt Lauren. And she had a stack of these beautiful handkerchiefs, like intricate women's handkerchiefs from my great grandmother from Scotland, and she was
Wow.
making them into a quilt because there's like so many of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My
So
my grandmother had
I
a
took a
handkerchief
few.
quilt.
Oh, there's so many handkerchiefs, but I took a few uncut home, and I've for work sometimes I wear a blazer. Maybe I'll just tuck a little handkerchief
Yeah,
in the
that'd be
top
nice.
pocket. But they're from my great grandmother all the way from probably Aberdeen, Scotland, or maybe Glasgow at the time, and it's nice. It's nice to
Yeah,
have
that's
something
really
from
sweet.
her.
Yeah. My grandmother had a handkerchief quilt on her wall from her adventures in Germany.
Oh, cool.
So
I'm not crafty, so anytime my mom makes something, I'm like, oh, that's really neat. That's a thing you can
I've been
do.
getting back into crochet the last, little bit. I crocheted like a devil in my later high school, early college years. And then I took probably about a 10-year break. And now I'm back on. And of course, right as I come back on, sorry, this is mid-April, so this is old news. My beloved, my Joanne, she's dead. And I don't know if you do a lot of, well, if you're not crafty, you don't know. Joanne is the craft store.
And it's a fabric store?
It's a fabric store,
right?
but it's over the years has become just a general craft store.
Okay.
And it's where I get all my yarn, except for no longer. I am adrift at sea.
There's got to be other places to get yarn.
Yeah, obviously. Like, there's a crochet shop in town that I keep meaning to go to. But I'm sure, they're going to be all, wool and natural fibers. And I'm looking for cheap nonsense to just make stupid stuff with, Like, I want to make little, they're called I'm going to say it wrong now, and I'm afraid to say words on the podcast.
Don't come at Amanda, please.
Don't come at me with these ambiguities. But you make little toys with them. I make rattles when my siblings have kids. I try to make a rattle for
cute.
the new, so.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And now, it's not like I need new yarn. I've got a whole bucket display.
A plethora. You have a plethora of yarn.
I've got a significant amount.
I know where the yarn stores are. I'll hook you up.
Nice. Yes. Because I just don't want to. I don't want to Amazon a bunch of yarn to my house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that.
I'm at the point where I try to only buy yarn when I have a project for that yarn. Otherwise, I just, like a crow, would gather as much pretty yarn as I could. Collecting yarn and using yarn are two different, separate hobbies.
Yeah, my mom had before they moved out of, they moved into like an adult community.
Uh-huh.
It's very nice.
Plus.
Yeah, they've got a really cute house, and
the house prices in the 55 plus communities are so much better. When we were trying to buy a house, it was like, oh, here's a house we could afford. Oh, never mind, you have to be over 55.
Yeah, but when she moved, she had like a craft room before, and it was just full of fabric. So much fabric that she would have never used. So she got rid of a bunch of it because,
again, collecting craft supplies and using craft supplies are two totally separate hobbies. Books as well. Collecting books and reading books are two different hobbies.
I have a book problem. Yeah, I understand.
I've been using the library app to try and dissuade myself from purchasing books.
Well, I have a book solution, and it's just to read the books that I bought. I just got to get around to it. I have no time.
That's not really a solution, because who has the time? I'm an audiobook girly just because then I can watch the children at the same time. So.
I love audiobooks on my car ride. But so today.
But this isn't a podcast about books.
Is there anything else that's bugging you aside from crafts?
Mostly the death of Joanne is heavy on my heart.
Weighs heavy on your heart.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have a bit of an uplifting bug today.
Good. I need an uplifting bug.
They're neat. They're interesting. This will be our second bug from order Hemiptera, which are the true bugs. Our last one.
We've been doing this podcast for 2 years, and we've only done 2 true bugs.
Yes.
We're still in a bill of goods on this podcast.
We got to keep the people wanting. We can't.
I just can't wait for
unload all the true bugs
episode.
We did mantis shrimp before we did our second true bug. I like to put that up.
Shrimps is bugs, Kelly, as you know. Shrimps is bugs.
So our last what we refer to as true bugs, or a true bug, again, Hemiptera, was lanternfly, so the spotted lanternfly. And
so an enemy bug.
Yeah.
We've done one.
Yeah. So true bugs they have a piercing mouth part. Yeah. So they either are sapsuckers, like the lanternflies, or like the guy we're going to cover today, or like stink bugs. Stink bugs will use that piercing mouth part to get caterpillars and other soft-bodied insects. They usually
like
have.
Weevil? That's what I always picture, is like the weevil has that. No, because his isn't necessarily not piercing. It's just weird.
Weevil is a beetle.
Yes, he just has a weird face.
He's got a cute face, and I love weevils, and they have little booty feet. And
we do need to do weevils because they are really funny bugs.
We gotta cover weevils because they're so cute. They have divided wings, so they have like that pretty clear demarcation. Have membranes, they're partially membranous. Am I forgetting anything else about true bugs?
Little guys.
So yeah, we've covered, and again we've only covered lanternflies, and they're huge. So there are around 80,000 species just in that order. Hemiptera is giant. So today we're covering little guys called spittlebugs.
Spittlebugs. Okay, so we haven't done a what does Amanda actually know about this bug before we start in a while. So what I know about spittlebugs, I know that they live on plants. Like
yes,
most bugs. I know that in my mind they're green. I don't know if that's true. And then they latch on to the plant in my mind, and then they do this spittle action where they froth up a little pile of bubbles. I don't know why. And then they're in there, and
you're gonna find out.
Don't know why. Like what purpose could this possibly serve? I was obsessed with finding them as a kid. Every time I found one, I'd be like, "Mom, check it out! Look at the spittle bug." And my mom was like,
did you like look through the spittle to find the bug?
I didn't want to touch it in case he needed that spittle.
That was very kind of you. Very considerate of a tiny bug.
Also, I don't want to touch it in case it's sticky.
In case it's disgusting.
Yes. But I remember seeing them as a kid. I feel like I haven't seen one in years, but I remember seeing them as a kid.
I saw a bunch last time I was in... So my in-laws have a house in Vermont, like a summer house. And I've gone out there before, and in the spring I always see spittlebugs in their yard because they keep it like a sort of like a prairie successioned into a forest. Their yard is very cool. They try to keep it as natural as possible. And but there's always spittlebugs on some of the taller flowering plants.
When we first bought the house that I grew up in from 8 to 20 when I left for college, it was up against a field when we first bought it. So we would like cricket hunt, and I think spittlebug. That's probably where a lot of my spittlebug interactions were happening. But then it got sold and turned into a paved paradise and put up a parking lot to a bunch of houses. So, but
this is exciting. This is a bug that Amanda has some history with.
Yes. You gotta tell me how much did I get right? How much did I get anything wrong? I guess is really more the question.
They do hang out on plants, and they do create little spittle wads, which
imagine if I got that part wrong. They're called spittlebugs. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about, Amanda. Spittle refers to a French style of wheel. You need to back up.
How dare you?
How dare you?
No, I think you're pretty good. You mentioned they're green.
Yeah, in my mind, they're green.
Nymphs can be like a yellowish to a green color. So the adults are come in a variety of shades, but if you were to part the spittle, you would find a tiny green dude.
So spittle is happening on the little dudes, not the girl. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
As is typical, I assume once they become the final stage, once it reaches its final form, he's only got one thing on his mind, and it's not spittling on plants.
See, there's a little baby.
Producer Derek has shared a picture of the nymph form, and it is a sweet little guy. Almost aphid-like in its sweetness. Oh, that's a cutie.
That round nose and that big eye.
This looks like a bug Pixar made.
This
is
cute.
A Pixar style bug.
We will we'll try to share a nymph photo on socials. I'm sure there's a copyright-free version we can do that with. But I would say he's a sweet little guy. That's right. Aphids are true bugs, and I'm surprised we haven't covered aphids.
No, they come up a lot in other animals stuff.
Yeah.
Ladybugs keep them, ants keep them as pets, but we haven't done like the aphid, his own man.
So they're more interested in their relationship to other insects. But so there's our little guy. There are around, let's see. So there's a superfamily called Cercopoideae that they belong to. This is spittlebugs, sometimes called froghoppers. And within that, there's 3 families. So this is when taxonomy starts to get weird. Under family, we have genus, and there are 160 genera in one family, 330 in another, and 10 in another. And all of those encompass species. So around 990 species in one genus, or in one family, 2,500 species in another family, and 100 in a third. So there's a lot. All that to say,
imagine there was
there's
100 species of tiger. You know what I mean? Like, there's like all these bugs, and then there's like 2 tigers.
Little things love to speciate. It works.
The world must be so huge to them that how could they not speciate? You know what I mean?
And they're everywhere. They're all over the place. You guys have quite a few, but you've probably seen the meadow spittlebug, which are actually transports from the east. So sorry guys, we brought you an extra spittlebug
My
from the east
beloved
coast.
spittlebug in the meadow behind my house may have been invasive.
Yeah, it happens. You've got a lot of natives there too, I think, though. They're in Central and South America. Of course, they're in Australia.
Oh,
There
everything's
are
Australia.
there are species in India and southeastern China, Vietnam, Malaysia, and a bunch, of course, in Eastern and Western Europe. They're just in Africa. They're everywhere. This is what we would call a cosmopolitan group, found worldwide, other than like Antarctica, where it gets too chilly.
And do they all spittle, or is it only a subgroup that spittles?
They spittle. So the ones we're covering today are all spittlers. So sort of, right?
The
There's
word
one.
spittle is starting to lose meaning for me. Spittle.
There is one group that doesn't spittle, and I'll explain them later as we kind of get into this. So, they kind of look like, well, you can see from the photo, and again, sorry, listeners, we'll get images up for you on Instagram, but they look a little bit like plant hoppers or leaf hoppers. You've seen those, right?
I think they've come up before when we've talked about.
They look a little bit.
I think Katie did, so we brought them up.
They look a little bit like a lanternfly, kind of. I don't know. I don't think they really look a lot like lanternflies, but if you do a
Yeah. We talked
Plant
about
hop.
these guys. We talked about these guys before because there's a version of them on an episode of Bluey. Where she goes, are you a walking leaf?
Oh, cute, very cute. Oh, Bluey, you sound like you've got a little bit of everything.
Bluey's great, and I know you have no children, but may I recommend it to you nonetheless.
Anyway, yeah.
It's very healing, Bluey.
I heard it's a good crier. It'll make you cry.
Oh, there's a couple
I
episodes
don't think I want
that are
that.
absolute tearjerkers. Some of them are, kind of parenting based, and so I don't know that you'll be hit by those as hard. But there's one about like dreams and like parental love that I think you could still appreciate, even coming at it from the child's perspective. There's one about like the one that other people that it gets tossed around a lot in the Bluey community. Is there's this moment where one mom says to the other mom who's like feels like she's failing, she's like, "You're doing great," and it just
Gotcha.
into the ribs.
I think anyone who's struggled with anything sometimes, just hearing someone go, "Hey, you're doing fine.
Hey,
you're doing a good
it,
job."
all right,
feels good. Yeah, we've all been there.
And there's one about like, I'm sorry to turn this into a Bluey podcast. There's one, the one that gets me the most is like, there's one where they go visit their granddad, and then the granddad like kind of has this one-liner about how time is a thief, basically, like time is so fleeting, and he says, "No, it was only yesterday." Oh, that one gets me too.
Yeah, talking about age, that's
talking about your mom's birthday and stuff. Maybe I'll send that one to you because oh my gosh, it gets you right in the feelings.
I'll watch it. I'd watch what you send. So, spittlebugs won't hit you in the feelings, thankfully. Don't worry, everyone. We're gonna be.
Don't tell me what to feel. I can muster up some tears for a spittlebug.
Maybe you could. Maybe you could, Amanda. Well, I guess we'll find out how.
I'm a sensitive little baby, so.
So they're You've seen the nymph.
Yeah.
They're all of them are pretty tiny, like only a few millimeters in length. They're not big. They're not big bugs. Even the adults are pretty small. They look a lot, like I said, they look a lot like plant hoppers, but they have sort of less spines on their tibia, on the leg. They have their bodies are kind of neat. They might sometimes look a little bit like a thorn, and then the wings, the back part of the wings, are always rounded to look like false heads, which is pretty fun. And that's what one family classed their
Is it a skink? Or maybe, no, I think it's a Gila monster, where they have like the big fat chubby tail, so that maybe the predator will bite the wrong end and he can get away.
Get away. We've seen lots of bugs. We've had a few bugs with the false head situation.
Yeah.
Some caterpillars.
Looking like a thorn is really
theme.
Interesting for a bug
Yeah.
to do. To sit on a plant and then look like a thorn.
Mm-hmm.
That's genius.
It's nature finds a way, right? It
Does
doesn't
like that. Finds a way.
So like I said, the nymphs are usually yellow to light green. Adults come in lots of colors. They can either be like kind of bright, sort of black and red. They can be brown. They can be green. They can have patterns.
They can be violet sky.
You just gotta blend in, you know?
Yeah.
But what I think the point of covering this group is, of course, the spittle.
Yes. So what is the spittle?
What is the spittle?
I'm desperate to know.
So we're gonna have to have a little bit of a plant lesson. Hold on to your butts, guys.
Okay, hold on. Let me call in Dr. Penn, friend of the podcast.
So plants have two types of tissue that delivers nutrients and water, the xylem and the phloem. So the xylem carries water up from the roots. It flows up the plant, hydrates everything, transports some nutrients from the ground as well. The phloem, and the xylem is very thin. It's watery because it's mostly water. The phloem is thicker. That's where more of the sugar is. It transports nutrients from the leaves, because the leaves are creating the sugar from photosynthesis, and then that moves throughout the plant to feed the body. So xylem is coming up. It's kind of watery. It's thin. Phloem is flowing down and through the plant. It's thick. It's sugary. Most plant-feeding insects feed on the phloem because that's where all your sugars are. That's the good stuff. These guys feed from the xylem instead. So it's looser. It's not as sugary. And because of that, while they breathe, we'll back up a minute. So their waste product, just like aphids, is going to be that sugar drop.
Yeah.
Sugar dewdrop, except this doesn't have as much sugar in it, and it's kind of a loose dewdrop. While they breathe, because they breathe through their abdomens, remember?
Yeah,
because that dewdrop is not as structurally sound, it will bubble. So they create foam out of their...
telling me right now that the spittle... No wonder I didn't want to touch it. I could sense as a child. So okay. He's attached... Buggy has attached themselves to the plant. Pierced in, because you said piercing mouth parts. So I assume pierced in. Is sucking down the juice from inside the plant. And then, through the process of digestion, excretes the leftovers. Mm-hmm. And then because it doesn't have a mechanism the way that we do out one mouth, it has these portholes.
Yeah.
Sphericals down its body. Because it's covered in this thin layer of sugar water, and then the sphericals are doing what they breathy do, causes bubbles in its own excrement.
Yes.
That cause it to froth up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How much are these guys eating? Because he's just a little dude, and then it's a lot of froth for how little this friend
guy
is.
Yeah.
Wow.
My favorite part of the podcast is when you re-explain something that I just explained in a much
in dumb terms. Oh yeah.
I don't know. You do a much better job than I do. You're, like, way more relatable, and I love it. And I always learn something from hearing you explain it back, because I'm like, oh, why didn't I just say it that way? That would have been easier for everyone to understand.
That's crazy. So it doesn't seem to serve. It's not like I'll hide in these bubbles and then the birds won't find me.
It is a deterrent, so it's got kind of an
I'll say, now that I know what it is, I'll say it's a deterrent.
It's got an acrid flavor, so predators don't really want to bite through it. It's kind of yucky. It's also great as a thermoregulator, so it keeps the bug warm in the cool weather and cool and warm weather, because those bubbles are an insulator. So whatever the temperature is in there...
A puffy jacket.
Yeah, a puppy poop jacket.
His own excrement. So he doesn't... Okay.
And humidity. It keeps humidity high, so he doesn't... Nymphal insects are very, very easy to dessicate. So this is like a little layer of protection.
Because his like outer layer isn't quite done yet in his nymphal stage. Okay, so a brief sojourn. So sorry. Some bugs seem to poo, and some bugs don't seem to poo. Is this guy a no pooer then?
Well, that's that poo is...
He's like a bird. It's all in
dewdrop
one.
Excrement. Yeah.
Right.
Well, because they're not... So some bugs eat
enough.
solid food, then you're going to get a solid bug poop.
Never put that together really before.
It just looks like a little black pellet on the ground.
Well, often in your hand, because you're a child and you're holding them. And you're like, poo on me.
But liquid drinkers just excrete liquid.
I'm gonna say an off-color joke, but I won't. Interesting. Okay. So it's like both.
I think I just broke you. Are you
well,
okay?
I'm just thinking about the... Okay. Mm-hmm. It's all of it, because there's nothing solid to get to pass through like an elephant. It's just liquid from jump, so it comes out as liquid. I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it froths up because he's breathing inside of his... Surely there must be a better way to like, how does it get on you? That's why, like, sir.
Well, it's really loose, right? So if you are defecating liquid, and sorry guys, I guess this is a gross one. If you're defecating liquid,
sorry for all the parents who don't like poo-poo talk.
It is going to kind of get stuck a little bit.
Yeah.
On the abdomen.
It's a little sticky. Yeah. And how much movement does a nymph do once it's sucked in? Is it just it's pierced and now I'm good?
They hang out for a while, but they will move. So eventually they'll go to another spot and they'll form a new spittle.
A new house. A
new foam house, basically. Sometimes, though, they will find another nymph and get cozy. So you'll get, like, groups.
Right, huh? In their little, their little foam house. I like foam house. That makes it sound so much
cuter.
Savorier. Yes.
Yeah, so they'll, like, join up with other nymphs. And it's not just one or two. So there's a particular group, Aphrophora, and some scientists found 100 little nymphs together, like over 100 nymphs together in this...
There's a little rave in there, having a little foam party.
This foam house was over 30 centimeters long, which is over a...
That's like the
it's
whole
over
plant.
a foot.
It's like
over a foot long in
oh my gosh!
In American units, yeah, a foot long spittle with over 100 nymphs hanging out.
I put it
to me sounds very cute.
Oregon, and then went to the images. Apparently, the University of Oregon has like a whole department on these guys based on the number of pictures alone.
But yeah, I love the idea of 100 of them just be like, okay,
just chilling in there, having a little bubble bath party.
Just be it's like a foam party in college.
Yeah. Well, they're not adults yet, so they're on the cusp.
It's a wholesome party. It's like the ball pit at a Chuck E. Cheese, just full of
It is,
germs.
because it's also full of spittle. and wee
excretions from nymphal humans. That's what the ball pit is.
Oh, gross! Oh, hate that for me. Oh,
definitely hate that for you. Love it for me.
I don't let the children in those, so it's fine.
You don't let your kids go in the ball pit? Oh,
I don't. We don't go to fast food a lot. Like certainly not physically. So they've played in like a ball pit at a restaurant, like if you want to call it that. Like maybe twice in their whole lives
too, right?
Yeah, we don't really do those because this is the hazard of having a husband who can cook. Is he's like, I'm not eating that. That's gross.
Good for him.
Honestly, good for him.
Yeah.
Gross. No, my kids get peed on in the outdoor playgrounds, which I'm sure that they have. So
probably also covered in who knows what. Kids are wonderful. But
my youngest is like obsessed with babies.
Stuff.
You know, at 3, you're just like baby obsessed, which is a shame for her because she's the youngest and will remain the youngest. But every time we go anywhere, you know, the Costco, the Target, places, I take my kids places, there's other kids there. And every time she sees a baby, she's like, she's like, gotta get up in its grill. And I'm always having to like take her away because I'm like, and like my go-to phrase is, please don't touch the baby. They don't know where you've been. Because,
smart.
Because I want to make it clear, like, I don't think your baby's gross. I think my baby is gross. And I don't want my 3-year-old germs.
Truth that all babies are gross?
Oh, babies are gross. Babies are gross. Let me say, I said to my friend the other day who's, you know, they're considering their family planning and whether she wants to start down the parenthood journey. That's the trouble with the parenthood journey is once you get on the parenthood journey, it's really hard to get off. So you really got to be sure when you want to start it.
There is no getting off. I think you're just on it. Yeah.
Once you're on, baby. You're committed. You can't recork that wine. So we were talking about it, and I said, look, are you willing to trade your freedom for love? Because that's what it is. That's the trade-off. The love is so great.
That's such a nice way to put it, too. Yeah.
It's rewarding in so many ways, but you will never truly be free again. And like when you phrase it like you're a young adult novel hero, are you willing to give up your freedom for love? It makes it sound a little bit more heroic. It's not, to be clear. So like, it's so gross to talk about babies and stuff, and I think that's part of like when you talk to non-parents about this sort of stuff is that the feedback, the reward for all this disgusting stuff is so intangible. I don't get like and here's my gold bar I got for taking care of a thing that
my baby's not laying golden eggs for me to pass out.
Exactly. I'm rewarded with a feeling which is so flighty and effervescent.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain to someone who's not feeling that what the reward is.
Yeah, I was not willing to give up my freedom for love. I have love from my husband and my friends and my family, and I'm good with that.
If your love cup is full, don't let me be the one to be like, you need more cup.
My love cup overfloweth. I can barely handle the relationships I have now.
For 2 little gremlins to ruin my life. So, you know, it's fine.
But I do love my friends' children very much. Yeah. I love going to their house, and they're excited to see me and my husband and show me all the stuff and ask me about bugs and birds and tell me about what they're doing in school. I love every second of it. I just don't need
my
it
oldest
myself.
Is just now getting to the age where I think he could start to become fun for non-baby people, if that makes sense. He's a mess.
He was fun when I was out there last time. He was telling me about mosquitoes.
You did. Yes,
he was so cute.
Last time. He loves bugs.
I think Teddy and I could be best friends.
He's not quite ready for like the science museum in town that you went to. He's still in the like lower section of that. He's not quite ready for. But he was like blown away that Minecraft gems are real rocks when we went to like the geology section.
I love that.
I sent you that link to like the ant war video he was watching the other day. Ant wars.
So cute. Yeah,
he loves videos like that. Did I tell you what he said the other day? So a lot of times I'll sit on the in the bathroom when he's in the shower, because he just like talks to himself in the shower, and sometimes you get some of his deeper inner thoughts when he's in the shower. Like sometimes he just like he stands in there and he just thinks about black holes. He talks about black holes. He's obsessed with black holes. The other day I was buckling him up and he goes, "I think a black hole just opened up in the universe." I was like, "Can you sense that?" And he was like, "Yeah, I can feel it."
Good for him.
Like, okay.
Good for him. He's great.
But he was in the shower
So
and he goes,
funny.
"An apple tree spends a whole year growing an apple, and then I just eat it in 5 minutes. Doesn't seem very fair."
Oh, that's profound. He's a little guy
Excuse
too. That's some deep thoughts for a little dude. Man, he's gonna be a wonderful adult.
He'll be a
he's
scholar poet any day now.
So I guess this is a bug theme podcast. I guess we should get back.
We should probably talk about bugs and not about
bugs.
About the philosophy of apples.
Yeah, well, we're talking about them as nymphs, and that's how we got
as
derailed
nymphs, yeah.
onto the human nymphs.
My child, the nymph, is also covered in his spittle at all times.
Yeah.
To be clear.
So they do. They have what we call incomplete metamorphosis. So they don't have a pupal stage.
So they do the dragonfly thing where they just kind of Pokemon
not
evolve.
Not dragonfly.
Oh, okay.
Grasshopper, cricket.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they, we call this hemimetabolous is a $500 word for today's
Is this where
vocab.
you use words like instar? Or is instar?
Yep,
the
instar.
dragonfly? Okay.
Instar is all we'll say larval or nymphal bugs go through instar stages, and then sometimes they hit a pupal stage, and that's complete metamorphosis or holometabolous, and sometimes they just go nymph adult, and that's what these guys do, which is hemimetabolous or incomplete metamorphosis. Surprise your friends with these fun vocab words at the next party you go to.
Drop a word on them that they're not expecting. That's what I do.
And they're not like... Takes about 3 months before they're going to hit adulthood. So they've got a lot of time to hang out in that spittle, that little foam house, living with their buddies, having parties, drinking that xylem.
So I'm about to start sketching here.
Okay.
Here's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I love the bubbles. I feel like bubbles is a great power to have. Like
Definitely a power, the foam power. Yeah.
Yes. How do I incorporate these bubbles without making them disgusting? Do I ignore the biological truth of these bubbles for the sense of...
I would not include them coming out of our hero's butt if that's what you're asking.
I think I'm going to have to Spider-Man with his webs do this, because like we confirm that Spider-Man should have the webs out of his back half. All right, that's what we'll say. Yep. But instead he does them out the wrist for the sake of decency. So I think we're gonna have to blow bubbles in the traditional human method.
So mouth?
Mouth.
You think mouth?
Maybe hands. I'm thinking. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking
because you need airflow to make the bubble, right?
Yeah, we could do the wand with,
bubble wand. Yeah, little kids bubble wand.
Because that's what I end up doing for hours of the day with the 3-year-old.
You got to get one of those bubble guns.
We have a bubble wand that I swear to you is like a Sailor Moon wand. The youngest got it for Christmas from an auntie. And my gosh, I might text it to you right now so you can see the level of I think I even have it in Discord already. Hold on.
Detail? Is it a detailed wand?
I can explain that it looks like a magical girl wand, but you won't truly believe until you see. Oh, yeah, those. I had one of these bubble blasters,
bubble
and I never
blaster.
got to use it because my dad immediately drowned it. Like before we even used it.
Yeah, this is what your kids need, is a little bubble gun.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, okay, let's see. Oh, it does look like a magical girl.
She's going to transform into a magical girl right now to blow bubble. Maybe we need to do magical girl right now.
So is our spittlebug going to be a magical girl with
yes,
a magical girl
I think
wand?
we've decided that she's a 90s anime princess and there's too many bubbles. Where do these bubbles come from? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, like many bubbles. I like it. I like it. And they do come in a multitude of colors, so I think you can get fancy with the costume colors. They would also, we'll talk about some of their powers other than the spittle foam. Um,
Yeah.
so super jump. They have wings. They can fly. They don't really. Why
This
bother?
this guy feels like she has a random collection of buggy-esque powers.
A little bit, yeah.
So we've made it this far, 40 minutes in, and we're only just now mentioning that like she can super jump.
Yep. Yeah. Super jump. Well,
I
because
think she can
we've been
technically
focused
fly,
on.
but doesn't bother because of the amount of jumping she can do.
Well, so she
But
can jump 28 inches, which is 70 centimeters vertically. That is 100 times their own body length. It's a mega jump.
and yet she more or less stays attached to the one spot on a plant at a time.
When she is a nymph. So when she's
Nymph.
adult, she's going to be a lot more willing to be mobile.
I see. Okay, hold on.
She also, well, actually, super speed. So she can accelerate 4,000 meters per second squared. So that's like, it's hard to think about that in a context that we. So 13,000 feet per second squared over. Yeah. So well, it's so fast. This is the more interesting part to me. It's so fast that she will experience 400 Gs of acceleration in the process. But no harm. Totally fine.
That's as an adult, or is that at...
Adult. This is
Okay.
adult. Yeah.
I'm giving her the powers anyway. So.
And like going back to episode 1, Ladybug, they can force hemolymph out of their joints.
No, the babies returned.
Yeah, like out of her like leg joints. So she's yucky. She tastes bad. She makes foam that tastes bad. She's got mega jumping powers. She can fly if she wants to, but she ain't gonna.
Something about the way he said it. She can fly if she wants to. She can leave this world behind. Because if you don't jump, oh yeah, no friend of mine.
She can spittle if she wants to.
Oh, and she will. Don't you worry about that.
So she's got some pretty interesting powers as a hero, and I think she's definitely a hero. She's pretty cool. Although they can be pests. They are sometimes agricultural pests. It takes a whole lot for them to damage a crop, though, in a way that really matters because they're so small. But it occasionally happens. They have issues with them in Brazil. So in their pastures, Brazil is like the largest beef cattle herd in the world, so they need a lot of pasture space. And there's a specific species of spittlebug that loves that type of pasture grass. So if you get too many of them, then they have a reduced yield and the cows don't get as much food. But I'm gonna just say I don't really care if beef cattle suffer. Oh, I don't care. Yeah, we don't really need whatever. It's not like
The beef cattle industry's doing just fine.
they're yeah, whatever. They're okay. They're fine. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over cattle ranchers who have probably cut down part of the rainforest to grow beef on. No worries. They can sometimes be issues in sugarcane fields too, but they're generally pretty harmless. Pretty harmless gals and guys.
I feel like you'd have to get too many of them on one plant for it to matter.
So many. Yeah. Maybe that like 100 babies hanging out in a big foot-long spittle will do the job.
Maybe they cause the problem. I think if you run into 100 babies anyway, you're like, this is a problem.
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute.
Wait a second. Why are there so many babies here?
Speaking of babies, one of my cats is attempting to break into the office right now. I can hear him rustling the door. It's probably Darcy, who is not a baby. He is old as hell. That guy is 15, but wants to be in this room.
Yeah, not for the podcast, but my mother-in-law's cat just died. She was
I'm sorry.
Delulu up until the
Aw.
moment it happened. She was like, no, her tooth's just infected. She's just got an infected tooth. Took her to the vet. The vet's like, it's cancer. And she was like,
Aw.
what a weird way
Aw.
to pronounce infected tooth. That's strange. And then took her into the vet to go get the tooth extracted. And the vet was like, I can send her home with you, but you'll be back in 2 days.
Wow,
Because
is that bad?
I mean, you know how cats are. They're not sick till they're
Yeah.
sick, you know?
Yeah, they don't tell you they're sick till it's too late. I'll be completely delusional until
Till the
like,
moment.
the moment up there, like, oh, because it stinks. You know,
Yeah, it's
we
bad.
we had got Darcy when he was about 1, so we've had
So
him for
yeah,
14 years.
we'll go today and
Yeah, give her some love.
go visit her. Yeah.
I'm sure having the kids around will make her really happy.
Okay, I'm trying to make a magical girl suit that references magical girldom without just being straight up a sailor suit.
Copy.
You know,
Yeah.
I know you and I come from Sailor Moon stock, so
Yeah, that's the only one I can
hard
really
to
think
do.
of. But I know there was another one I liked when I was younger.
well, Sailor Moon's like the staple one, right? Like they defined the genre, so it feels like everything else is just kind of referencing Sailor Moon as a starting point. Like your understanding has to be Sailor Moon, and then we'll move on. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings and fantasy.
Oh, Cardcaptor Sakura.
Oh yeah, Cardcaptor Sakura was very good.
And
Yes.
Magic Knight Rayearth were the two that I watched.
Magic for Night Ray Earth is getting a reboot, just so you know.
Really? Oh,
Getting a remaster.
it's been so long. I wonder if I would still enjoy it. I
Well,
liked I
Clamp
liked
anything.
in
I was
general.
Clamp I was
Love Clamp.
deep into. Okay. Thinking of her buggy body, I'm going to choose as much circle work as I can. Okay.
I'm excited to see your magical girl. This is fun. Yeah, I haven't thought about Magic Knight Rayearth in a very Cardcaptor Sakura in a very, very long time.
See, Captain or Ray Earth, the like main boy was named Fiero, and so by the time Wicked came along, I was like, "Oh, I know this name already." People were like, "It's Fiero," and I was like, "It's very clearly Fiero," because I already knew from Magic Knight Ray Earth. Fiero.
Oh yeah, producer Derek just put like a list of magical girl
Oh,
things, and I've never heard of any of these other than
the feminine urge to make her
Some
also
of
have like the two buns is so strong. She'll just be a Chibiusa knockoff at any.
Little Witch Academy looks very cute.
Oh, Little
Little
Witch
Witch
Academy is
Academia.
good. I think
Yeah.
you'd enjoy that one.
I would probably like that.
Okay, I gotta look at it. I gotta look at him again. I gotta look at her little bug body.
Are you going with the nymph or adult?
I'm going with the
What is
nymph.
your-
I think we're going youngy, magical
Cute little
girl.
round face.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the grown-up one though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Got the same colors as our boy Woolly Moth though.
Oh, Woolly Bear.
Oh yeah, sorry, Woolly Bear. Woolly Moth is halfway. Yeah. I think I'm doing it. I think I'm gonna use the Chibiusa. I think they're called Odongo. Just when you have like the buns on top of your
the
head.
buns?
Yeah.
What the heck is that called? I think it does start with an O.
You did that for mantis shrimp.
Odango.
Oh, you're right. I so did.
So I'd say maybe do something different.
All true bugs are magical girls. That's what I'm hearing right now. Okay,
Well-
okay, then I'll give her a big bow on top of her head, and that can be the shape.
Does mantis shrimp have a bow? I don't remember.
Probably. I love a big bow. Okay, I'll come back to her hair then, I guess.
Sometimes it's that short bob with bangs
Yeah.
for magical girls. You know what I mean? Where it's like really
Yeah.
like kind of triangle cut.
I'm trying to look. What's going to be the most thorny? The most thorny for this. I think I'll just do straight up pigtails then.
Oh yeah, pigtails will work. That's pretty and they just gotta have bangs. They always have bangs for some reason.
They always have like the heart shaped bang.
Yeah.
Like Princess Peach. It's coming off a little rubber hose animation-esque, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. Is there any particular flower they're known for being on?
No, they're kind of like
Whatever's around. Okay.
whatever the tender shoot is. It's easy to get into. Because there are so many species. It's could be anything for a specific species what they're into.
I listened to the Neon Genesis Evangelion opening the other day in the car, and my kids were like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it. It's just stuck in my head. I just gotta get rid of it."
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Oh,
I don't know.
so good. It's so good.
I don't know if I need that stuck in my head.
Oh. Do, 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 do. Bubbles, 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 everywhere bubbles. I also recently re-listened to the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. No L's on that soundtrack. So good.
I went to a concert where they just played the soundtrack. It was pretty sweet.
How tall should these shoes be?
They always have a heel, right?
Usually.
Yeah.
I'm going to base these shoes off of shoes that I saw at the kids' shoe store the other day, where they were light-up shoes where you stomp them, but only the butterfly on the top would glow. They were sweet shoes. I was tempted by them for my youngest.
I'm surprised you didn't get them, for your
My
girl.
little monkeys. No. They were like too open-toed. I was like, I need to get you shoes that you can run around in, you know?
Yeah, you don't want growed feet. Grody little toes. So Amanda, while you're drawing, how many legs would you give this guy?
I've got to seem so too generous here, but I really feel like no points were deducted across the. I mean, okay, I take that back because the spittle is gross.
You're gonna deduct points from grossness?
I am gonna deduct.
She's just living her life.
She's doing her best. Okay. No. I'll give 5. I'm gonna take away 1 point for that's a little bit nasty factor. But again, she can't help that.
She can't help it.
And it's not like it's poo. You know what I mean? Like I'm being grossed out by my human idea of what excrement is. Mm-hmm. But it's traveling through her and coming out the other end, more or less the same stuff.
It's poop. Yeah, it's liquid poop.
I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think I'm gonna go 5. I
think 5 is fair. I think I'll go with a 5. It's not like, they're not amazing, but they are kind of fun. And I'm sure just about everyone has seen one at one point in their life and wondered what's going on under that bubble, under that foam.
What's happening in there?
What's going on? And now you know. Now everyone knows what's happening. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's over 100. Just depends. Depends on the day. Yeah, they're pretty fun. I do like them. Oh, there was one family, Macaritatidae. They don't make foam bubbles. Instead, their bodies extract the calcium coming from the xylem, and they make little tubes. So they make a little tube, and then they secrete like a little bit of waste inside of the tube to keep it humid. But so they're foam free. They make little calcareous tubes, which is neat. I didn't want to forget that. I know I had mentioned at the top that was something. Yeah, I think it's worthy of 5 rather. I think 5 legs works.
Okay, hold on. She needs a little bit more decoration, you know what I mean? But I think her base form.
She's not decorated enough.
Well, magic. You want the cosplay girlies who cosplay as this to really have to get into the nitty-gritty of it.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of little gems involved and
Yeah, exactly.
little bows and ribbons.
She needs more bubbles. I'm gonna lengthen this skirt a little bit with bubbles. We don't want her tuchus out while she's trying to fight crime.
Her tuchus.
Her tuchus.
Her little bum.
I gotta move the Bugs Need Heroes thing. There we go. Boo, boo. Put it in a bubble. Hold on, okay. I'm just gonna fix her bangs and then we'll be back in business. Okay, save. Save as JPEG. I have given her antenna just because I feel like that really sings bug, and I want to make it clear this is a bug girl.
They have really tiny antennae, so they wouldn't be super.
Okay, I'll shorten them when I do
Super
the
big.
dark art, or the dark art when I do the dark lines to make it more clear.
All right, let's see here. Yeah. Oh, I like her dress is made of spittle.
Get the bubbles on the dress, and I felt like that was the best way to
Yeah.
just hem every surface with a ring of bubbles.
That's great. Yeah, that
Very
is-
generic magical girl, but maybe that's the look we're going for.
I think
anyway.
that's the look. Yeah, that's awesome. Very nicely done as always, Amanda. Look at her. She's so cute. She's
I want her
adorable.
to be friends with all of our other kid bug heroes, which we haven't had too many kid ones. We've had Lanternfly was also a kid though, so that fits right in.
Okay, and
He was a-
Silverfish.
Silverfish was a
Silverfish
teenager. He was the babysitter of the other
the other ones.
kids.
Oh,
And I
the
think Woolly
world.
Bear counts. And Cinnabar Moth had like a young form. They were a little
Mhm.
older though. They were like 12.
But very cute. Very, very cute, Amanda.
I like Spittlebug. I think Spittlebug was a cute little bug. It wasn't any harm to nobody. Just living their little Spittlebug life. Sapsucker still remains a great insult. If someone's really bothering you, be like, listen here, you sapsucker. Yeah,
It feels like an
liquor.
insult. It feels like an insult to the sapsucker bugs because they seem to be quite cute.
They do seem to be. Well, maybe that's what I'm saying, really. It's like, look here, you adorable little fool.
You sweet little
Just
sapsucker.
drink your sweet little juice and stay out of this.
It's like calling someone a child.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Yeah,
you're still
it's
in your
infantilizing.
sapsucker phase, okay? You are not yet pupated into a full-grown moth. You're just still some little sapsucker. All right. Well, is there anything else we need to say about Spittlebug?
I think we covered it all. She's
Sweet.
adorable.
I like her. I
She's
think
sweet.
she's really funny. If you think it's really funny, you can check us out at the Reddit, at the .com, at the Blue Sky, at the Gram. If you know what any of those words mean, congratulations. You'll find me on the Reddit. I finally made a
Yay, Amanda finally has a Reddit
so
name.
I can come talk to you guys and share memes. Other than that, we love you. So goodbye. Da, 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 da. Bugs Need Heroes was created by Derek Conrad and Kelly Zimmerman. Hosted by Amanda Niday and Kelly Zimmerman. Bugs Need Heroes is produced and edited by Derek Conrad, with some assistance from Chelsea Bodden and a few cats. Character art is by Amanda Niday. Our music is Ladybug Castle by Roll Music. Got a bug question? Email us at bugsneedheroes@gmail.com. Check us out at bugsneedheroes.com, and most of the socials are under Bugs Need Heroes. Thanks for stopping by. Hyman Aptra always makes me think of the Mummy because of the way that what's her name says the name of the... Yeah, sorry, go on.